If I asked you right now, are you rich? You'd probably say no. Almost nobody in Australia thinks they're rich. In fact, a study found that only 1.4% of Australians are willing to call themselves upper class. But here's the thing. A lot of people watching this video right now are closer to rich than they realize. And some of you might already be there without even knowing it. Today, I'm breaking down the exact numbers. How much money you actually need to earn, and how much you need to own to be in Australia's top 10%, top 5%, and top 1%. These are real figures from the ATO, the ABS, and the Grattan Institute. No fluff, no guesswork. Just the numbers that tell you exactly where you stand. Let's start with income, because that's what most people think of when they hear the word rich. The median individual income in Australia is $55,619. That means half of all taxpayers earn less than that. If you're on that amount, you're dead center. Nothing wrong with it, but it's a useful anchor point. Now, the average full-time salary gets thrown around a lot. It sits at about $104,765. But here's what nobody tells you. More than 75% of Australian workers earn less than that number. The average gets pulled up by high earners at the top. The typical full-time worker actually earns closer to $90,000. And once you include part-time workers, that median drops to $67,786. So, if you earn $70,000 or $80,000 and feel like you're behind, you're not. You're actually ahead of most people. Now, let's talk about the top 10%. To crack into the top 10% of individual taxpayers in Australia, you need a total income of $143,628. For households, that number is $235,425. That means if you and your partner are both working full-time, and together you're bringing in around $240,000, your household is already in the top 10%. It's not private jets. It's not harbor views. It's a regular dual-income household that's managed their careers well. And yet, most people in that bracket would never describe themselves as rich. They're paying a mortgage, raising kids, maybe putting a bit into super. On paper, they're top 10%. In their daily life, they feel completely average. Moving up. To reach the top 5%, you need an individual income of $189,178. For households, you're looking at $305,938. This is where things start to feel different. You're probably a senior professional, a business owner, or someone in a high-demand field like medicine, law, finance, or tech. At this level, only 4.4% of taxpayers even earn enough to hit Australia's top tax bracket of $190,000. So, if you're at or above that line, you're genuinely in rare territory. Even in Australia's highest-earning state, Western Australia, only 5.5% of taxpayers reach that top bracket. In Sydney, the richest city in the country, it's just 7%. And then there's the top 1%. To be in the top 1% of individual taxpayers, you need a total income of $375,378. For households, the magic number is $531,652. A household income above $500,000 still only puts you in the top 1%. It sounds like an absurd amount, but consider this. A specialist doctor married to a senior lawyer could clear that amount without owning a business or inheriting a cent. These are high-powered careers, but they're still salary earners. They're still trading time for money. And here's something else worth noting. These top 1% income thresholds have jumped roughly 19% for individuals and 16% for households since 2019 to 20. The bar keeps rising. What put you in the top 1% 5 years ago barely gets you into the top 2% today. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Income is only half the picture. The other half, the part that actually defines wealth, is net worth. And this is where a lot of Australians get a shock. The average Australian household net worth is about $1.66 million as of mid-2025. Sounds impressive, right? But roughly 70% of that is tied up in property. It's not cash in the bank. It's not money you can spend. And that number is an average, which gets dragged up by the very wealthy. The median tells a much humbler story. Looking at net worth by age, the median for households aged 25 to 40 is just $238,000. For the 41 to 64 bracket, it jumps to $809,000. And for those over 65, it's $817,000. Notice that. Wealth doesn't come from earning a big salary for 2 or 3 years. It comes from accumulating and investing over decades. Super, property equity, and compound returns do the heavy lifting over time. That's why a 30-year-old on a great salary can still have a lower net worth than a retired teacher who bought a house in the 1990s. To be in the top 1% of net worth, the numbers are staggering. If you're between 25 and 40, you need $3.1 million. Between 41 and 64, it's $7.7 million. And if you're over 65, you need $10.9 million. According to Knight Frank, about 42,000 Australians hold a net worth above $16.6 million, and Forbes counts just 46 billionaires in the entire country. But here's the part that most people miss completely. Globally, Australia is already one of the richest nations on Earth. Our median wealth per adult is about $262,000. That puts us second in the entire world, behind only Luxembourg, a country smaller than some Sydney suburbs. We rank ahead of Switzerland, the United Kingdom, the United States, and Canada. If you own a home and have super, you're likely wealthier than 80% of the planet. That's not an exaggeration. The UBS Global Wealth Report found that 82% of the world's adults have a net worth below $100,000. Nearly 40% have less than $10,000. So, why do so many Australians still feel broke? Because wealth is relative. If everyone on your street drives a new SUV, your paid-off Corolla feels embarrassing. If your mates just bought a holiday house, your 2-bedroom unit feels small. We compare ourselves to the people we see, not to the billions of people we don't. That gap between perception and reality is where most financial stress lives. And that's actually the most important takeaway from all of this. Being rich isn't a destination. It's a moving target. If you earn $145,000 and find out you're top 10%, you don't suddenly feel wealthy. You immediately start looking at the top 5%. This is why setting concrete financial goals matters more than chasing a label. Know your number. Build toward it. And measure your progress against your own life, not someone else's highlight reel. If you found this useful, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.